So next on our list is Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray did not have a whole heck of a lot of war. It's tough to put up a whole heck of a lot of war when you only appear in one game and have 3 1/3 innings of pitching. We'll get into why all of that happened and what to kind of expect in 2024. But first, I want to thank the good people of Simply Seattle for sponsoring the show and remind everyone that they have the very best in Seattle sports gear. Whether you're a fan of the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Huskies, the Sounders, the Storm, the Cougars, could be fans of lots of those teams. You're probably fans of lots of those teams. And they've got the best stuff. They've got great hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you're looking for. You can find it at Simply Seattle. And once you find all the good stuff, when you're ready to check out, use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. Link in the description. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. Okay, Robbie Ray. One game, 3 1/3 innings. Gave up 3 earned runs, 5 total. He walked 5 and he struck out 3 in the second game of the year against the Guardians. And as you probably remember, he was diagnosed with, I believe, a flexor strain. And the flexor strain was expected to keep him out for 4 to 6 weeks. Then it was a couple months. And then it turned into Tommy John surgery. And we probably won't see him pitch until after the All-Star break. Maybe if everything goes right, you see him late June, early July. I wouldn't count on it. I certainly wouldn't operate if you're the Seattle Mariners in that regard, because every pitcher recovers differently. There are some guys who are ready to roll very quickly. And Ray's a veteran, he's dealt with injuries before. He's been actually pretty reliable, like in terms of that, but he has had some stuff. You just can't be like, okay, I know this guy's going to be starting for me July 1st. You can't do that. You just can't. You should assume that he'll be back in 2024 because the overwhelming majority of Tommy John guys do. They do make it back. But there's no guarantee that it's going to be any sooner than August. I would guess if you put some sort of weird weapon to my head and said you have to guess, Chris, I guess right after the All-Star break, but no guarantees whatsoever. And, the Mariners missed Robbie Ray. No, he's not the 2021 pitcher. That guy who won the Cy Young Award, who led baseball in strikeouts and innings pitched and ERA, or at least led the American League in those totals. That's not happening again. But there's zero denying that the Seattle Mariners could have used Robbie Ray. If you just get the 2022 version of a 3.71 ERA and 212 strikeouts in 189 innings, excuse me. I don't know why I added a third there. You'll take that and then some. And I think it's worth pointing out too, the 2022 season ends in an absolutely spectacular disaster for Robbie Ray. A disaster. He gives up that home run to Yordan Alvarez. I still think that's the worst decision Scott Service has ever made. May not have even been Scott Service's decision, but a horrific decision. Before that, he has the terrible start against his former team, Toronto. Did actually do a good job in relief in Game 3. Too late, but he did do a nice job once entering that game. But he has the disastrous end to an uneven first season with the Mariners. It wasn't horrific, but I think people probably were expecting a little more just based on, we always conflate contract with stuff, and getting that 5 years, I think 115 million or whatever it was. I think that's what it's guaranteed to be. I don't remember. I don't care. It was a lot of money. Did he pitch at a Cy Young level last year? Of course not. There's no denying that. But there was a lot of good from him in 2022. And I think the thing about Ray is that, and maybe people forget this a little bit, he looked fantastic in spring training. The velocity was good. The slider looked good. I think people were pretty hyped up because he looked fantastic in Arizona. And I can't help but wonder, and this is absolutely 100% unequivocal. Confirmation bias isn't even it. It is 100% me being Captain Hindsight. I can't help but wonder now, knowing what I know now, if maybe Robbie Ray worked too hard that spring. If he was maybe going at it a little too much. I mean, that's easy to say when you only throw 3 1/3 innings, right? Hey, maybe you work too hard to spring training. But when you remember what those velocity numbers were in spring, and he's coming off that disappointing end to 2022, maybe trying to do a little too much. Maybe trying to do a little too much. And, let's pause while I answer the phone call. Sorry, that was important. It was about dinner. What were we talking about? I think we were talking about Robbie Ray, spring training, maybe just going a little too hard. And it really hurt Seattle because while there were certainly flashes of brilliance from Bryce Miller and Brian Wu and even Emerson Hancock in his limited time and some other guys, and they couldn't have predicted. I talked about this when we did the Chris Flexen recap. They could not have predicted. No one could have predicted that he would have been that big of a disaster. Poor? Sure. That skill set deteriorates awfully quickly. But that bad? No. They couldn't have seen that. But at the same time, even the very best version of Chris Flexen is not as good as the average version of Robbie Ray. And again, while I will caution, you can't count on him to make more than 10 starts next year. Getting 10 starts from Robbie Ray, if he is the same pitcher that he was in 2022, is massive. But here's my big, I almost said it. Here's my big dumper. Here's my caveat. Don't know if caveat's the right word there anyway. Robbie Ray in the past has had control issues, and that is an understatement. This is a guy who walked 31 hitters in 31 innings with the Diamondbacks one year, walked 84 in 2019, walked 70 in 2018, and that's over a combined 300 innings. He has had problems finding the strike zone. Robbie Ray is going to turn 30. He just turned 32 in October. Happy birthday, Robbie. How is this long a layoff going to affect his command? Not just his control, but his command. Because for somebody who misses as many bats as Robbie Ray does, and he's among the very best in history for baseball in terms of strikeout per 9 innings. 1,505 strikeouts in 1,228 innings. Really impressive. He's also been pretty homer prone, especially the last 2 years. He allowed 33 even while winning a Cy Young in 2021. He allowed 32 in 2022. So, is he going to not only have issues with the walkies, is he going to have issues with keeping the ball in the park? That's going to be big for him. That is going to be big for him. And for those who are assuredly wondering, here's what Ray's contract is for the remainder of his time in Seattle. He is due $23 million in 2024. He can opt out of his contract in 2025 for $25 million. I would be beyond shocked if he did that. Beyond shocked. So you're going to have Robbie Ray as a part of this rotation for at least the next 3 years. 2.5, really, because he's not going to be ready to pitch until July at the earliest. Maybe late June. Keep issuing caveat after caveat and still not sure if you're using that term right. But as much as I like to talk about, hey, these are billionaires, they're the money, yada, 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 it's a large financial investment. A large financial investment. Financial investment. Goodness gracious. It's a good thing I don't restart these because I'd be tempted after all this word flubbing. Anyway, I think Ray can be a difference maker down the stretch. But I can't guarantee it. Obviously, I can't guarantee it. Even if I knew Robbie Ray was healthy, I can't guarantee anything in life. Death and taxes. Experiencing both lately. Do know those two things are the guarantees in life. But I think he's going to be a key cog to how this next season goes. Because if you get average Robbie Ray, if you get 2022 Robbie Ray with Castillo and Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, assuming they're still here, and then Robbie Ray is your fourth starter, that's pretty darn good. That is pretty darn good. I hope it works out. I really do. Of course I do. Anyway, yeah, Robbie Ray. Obviously a massively disappointing 2023 season for things that were kind of beyond his control. Oh, real quick. Don't ever believe what any organization tells you about pitching injuries. It's all a lie. It's all a lie, in part because they don't know. And they're always going to take an optimistic point of view. Just when you hear somebody say that somebody's out for a month, know that it could be 2 weeks, know that it could be a year. Just don't believe people when they say it. This is not a Seattle Mariner criticism. This is not even really a criticism. Just don't believe. Believe in a lot of things. Do not believe general managers, front office staffs, even doctors from the team when they tell you what an ETA is. Because it's nonsense. They don't know. Unless they're coming back in a week and they say that everything's fine, they don't know. Please hit like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it. We'll have a big video up tomorrow. We're going to try to have one every single day other than the weekends because, it's just not worth it on the weekends right now. Not enough views. I love you. Please change that. And I know that'll change during the season, but yeah. But I would really appreciate you hitting like and subscribe, following all the socials. Robbie Ray, what's your level of optimism for Robbie Ray going forward? I'm genuinely curious.